great. I think the cool thing about that is just you felt the energy in the room, the amount of women sitting in there and so passionate about being a leader in their space, whether it was sport, whether it's business, whatever it is. I think that was what's so cool about it. And obviously getting to sit next to Annika on stage is pretty special for myself. So
it's funny, Caitlin Clark was repeatedly told by the WNBA to continue in her position and concentrate solely on basketball, as if she were expected to be appreciative simply by being present. Then she picks up a golf club, and all of a sudden everyone is staring at her once more. No league drive, no major promotion. The entire area focused on her as soon as she entered the course and swung. Individuals were bending over ropes. Midway through the warm-up, players began pausing. Who the attraction was clear. And I can assure you that Kathy Engelbert was watching it someplace in the WNBA offices and thinking, oh great, now she's popular in another sport. This is the part that no one in that league really wanted to acknowledge. Because she plays in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark doesn't receive much attention. The presence of Caitlin Clark draws attention to the WNBA. And when she plays golf with that focus, yes, the panic begins at that point. The mood at the LPGA Prom changed when Caitlin Clark approached the tee box. People anticipated something lighthearted, such as a charming moment, a courteous swing, and clapping. Her focus, however, indicated differently. The serenity of her posture and the way she positioned herself. There was purpose behind it. She was there to compete. You could hear it when that club connected. People stopped when they heard the clear, crisp sound. The ball didn't simply fly. It kept track. Straight, composed, self-assured. People turned around right away. Pros stopped. Viewers muttered. That expression, the common athletic response of, oh, she's not just here to take pictures, was visible. At this point, Caitlin stopped acting like a guest, which caused the discourse to shift. She was competing as if she were an athlete who could succeed wherever. Her presence was not merely noticeable. It gave it an order. She is the attraction, not due of marketing campaigns, league storytelling, or promotional hoopla. Furthermore, it's not just amazing but also a sign of leverage when a star demonstrates that her limelight follows her wherever she goes. The LPGA handled her in a manner that the WNBA still doesn't get because they realized that right away. The LPGA acted without hesitation. They weren't cautious. They didn't counterbalance the emphasis because they were worried that someone might feel overshadowed. They saw worth after seeing Caitlin Clark. Nelly Korda, the world's best golfer, was matched with her. It wasn't a coincidence. That was intentional. They didn't feel threatened by Caitlin's attention, so they positioned her as the face of their sport. They applauded it. The crowds did more than just observe. Along the fairway, they formed lines. People were standing shoulder to shoulder. The enthusiasm, anticipation, and intensity of an unstaged event were palpable. It was genuine and organic. Here's the main distinction. She was not minimized by the LPGA. They made no effort to teach her position. They didn't make an effort to distribute attention equally. They declared, "We have a superstar. Let's put that to use." In the meantime, the WNBA treated her popularity as a challenge rather than a chance for advancement. She wasn't simply treated warmly by the LPGA. They put her on display. They emphasized her. They realized that everyone benefited from her presence. They leaned closer. Because you don't diminish the moment when someone improves your sport. Rather, you develop alongside it. What prevented the WNBA from doing that, then? This gets us to the topic that Kathy Engelbert most definitely does not want to discuss. It was no secret that Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA. The most excitement the league has seen in decades greeted her arrival. The biggest ticket sales, the highest ratings, items flying off the shelves, and arenas that had never sold out before all of a sudden looked like playoff audiences. She brought a wave. Additionally, the league attempted to act as though the sea was calm rather than surfing it. From the beginning, she was physically attacked by seasoned players. Targeted physical, not competitive. The league remained mute despite cheap shots, late bumps, and full-court harassment. No penalties, no declarations, and no focus on preserving the league's reputation. The notion that Caitlin's popularity was exaggerated, that she wasn't unique, and that her supporters were bandwagon casuals was promoted by criticism throughout the league. All the while, every ticket that Caitlyn touched sold out right away. It was denial rather than merely carelessness. The league pretended that it was a scheduling problem despite having control over a cultural phenomena. Furthermore, Caitlyn did not retaliate. She didn't voice any complaints. She only continued to hope. However, sponsors, executives, and fans all took notice. Thus, the LPGA greeted Caitlyn when she entered a different sport. "We are happy to have you here." There could not have been a more striking contrast. And Kathy Angel-Burt went into a panic mode because of that contrast. Thousands of miles away, Kathy Angel-Burt was emailing committee rooms with subject lines like, "We need to discuss optics," looking at predictions, and watching probably refreshing figures while Caitlyn was shining on the golf course. Because it hit Kathy like a mid-season salary cap review when the LPGA broadcast numbers increased, event attendance surged, and highlight clips began to circulate. Not because of golf, but because Caitlyn Clark was present. The WNBA does not own Caitlyn's star power. The audience owns it. The public recognizing they don't need your league to witness the player they adore is the worst-case scenario for a commissioner. Sponsors began posing queries such as, is it possible to activate Caitlyn without the involvement of the WNBA? Can we run campaigns for both sports? Is it possible to reallocate funds to golf? The WNBA hasn't only been utilizing Caitlyn's star power, therefore that's the real cause for concern. They have been relying on it. A commissioner's worst nightmare is unchecked dependency. All of a sudden, Kathy's whole balance the spotlight strategy began to resemble fear rather than leadership. Fear of a future in which the league is no longer dependent on its largest source of income. In the meantime, Caitlyn was being treated as though she belonged in the golf world, which is more significant than most people think. Caitlyn wasn't the aim on that golf course. She wasn't the plot point that caused controversy. She didn't have to earn it as a rookie. Among athletes, she was an athlete. Caitlyn was not seen by Nelly Korda as a rival for her attention. She saw her as a collaborator in making the occasion better. Players shared her laughter. They gave advice. They extended a warm welcome to her. No jealousy, no sidelong glance, and no energy to show that you belong here. By default, it was respect. Additionally, you could see how Caitlyn's shoulders, expressions, and posture had changed. She appeared to be able to let go at last. In contrast, every game felt like a trial during the WNBA season. Hard fouls, condescending remarks, and persistent undercutting of her golfing impact. There was no need for Caitlyn to compete for space. She didn't need to explain why she was there. She didn't need to shrink in order to put others at ease. She was given the freedom to shine. Additionally, athletes remember that they are valued, understood, and truly welcomed. And just when it looked like things couldn't get much worse, someone came along and made a huge difference. Then came the invitation, and not just any invitation, from Michael Jordan. Not only is he the best basketball player of all time, but he also serves as a model for transforming athletic brilliance into a lasting impact on future generations. Jordan extended an invitation to Caitlyn to attend the private course at Grove 23, which is a gathering spot for owners, investors, champions, and power brokers. Grove 23 is the boardroom if the LPGA event were a spotlight. Because of your popularity, you are not invited there. Because of your significance, you receive an invitation. Jordan witnessed something the WNBA will not acknowledge. Caitlyn Clark is more than simply a guard with a lot of points. She is a force in culture. The best thing is that Jordan did more than simply play golf with her. He discussed durability, brand strength, and managing your image rather than letting others do it for you. Kathy Angel-Burt most likely whispered into a meeting room someplace, "She is slipping away." Because you don't stay tiny when Michael Jordan affirms your path. However, Jordan wasn't the only one who observed that business executives also did. Corporate sponsors quickly get the message that Caitlyn's crossover influence conveys. This star isn't motivated by the league. This star is driven by the consumer. Everything is altered by that distinction. The value of a star created by a league is controlled by the league. However, the league merely strives to keep up when the public produces a celebrity. Event planners and Nike golf marketing companies began talking about multi-port positioning after witnessing Caitlin's prom impact. Not WNBA guard Caitlin Clark. However, Caitlin Clark, a well-known athlete, is positioned at Serena's level. That's positioning at the Tiger level. That is the potential influence of Naomi Osaka. Furthermore, the WNBA did not construct that. Caitlin did. This implies that she can carry it with her everywhere. Sponsors begin posing risky questions at this point. What would happen if Caitlin played golf more frequently? Because the crowd follows her. That's the explanation. Not the television deals, not the league, not her. And one rivalry appears somewhat different as a result of that fact. Because someone else was looking intently and responding emotionally while Caitlin was expanding her universe. Angel Reese responded without a microphone or a press conference. It was evident in the way she attempted to fit herself into a situation that wasn't her own, as well as in the timing and tone. Angel was observing shadows, gauging attention, and attempting to stay up in a race for which she was unprepared while Caitlin was forming bonds with legends. This is the distinction. Silently, Caitlin builds. Angel gives a booming reply. When Caitlin enters a space, it is elevated. Angel wonders why she isn't the focal point. One is expanding. Clinging is one. Additionally, Angel Ree is marketable, competitive, and gifted. That is undeniable. However, being unquestionable is not the same as being popular. There is no denying Caitlin. Not because of marketing storylines or media hype, but rather because people respond to her right away. Prompting is not necessary. Respect is what Angel desires. It is drawn to Caitlin. For this reason, one receives an invitation to Grove 23, and the other is captured responding, which reveals the truth. Whether she wants to or not, Kathy Engelberg must now admit. In sports, there are stars. Icons are present. Drivers come next. Drivers are more than just participants in a league. They are the center of attention. Caitlin Clark works as a driver. Caitlin is the driving force for the WNBA's increase in attendance. Caitlin was the driving force behind the record-breaking TV ratings. Caitlin, the ticket sales in cities that had never sold out. Caitlin, the merchandise boom. Caitlin, the wave of new admirers. She didn't advance inside the WNBA hierarchy. Because of her arrival, the WNBA flourished. And Kathy Engelbert made an effort to steer out of that particular situation. Because the league needs a player more than they need the league when they become the engine. Fans, sponsors, executives, and Caitlin are all aware of it now. She can demonstrate her strength without leaving the WNBA. She just needs to enter a different sport, and the spotlight will follow. What does Caitlin Clark do next, then? This year's golf comeback for Caitlin is not a side project. It's positioning. Positioning for multi-sport legacy, ownership-level influence, and brand expansion, things that very few players ever accomplish. Here's the secret, though. She needs to get back in touch with the supporters who helped her from Iowa to the professional ranks. Nor through marketing, nor through lectures, but through her presence, her delight, her smile, her accessibility, and the heartfelt thank you she gives each child who is waiting behind the line. Because Caitlin's power is relational rather than merely athletic. People don't merely observe her. Watching her makes people feel included. She will therefore outlive media fluctuations, league politics, hype cycles, and small-scale rivalries. Fans will follow her wherever she goes as long as she keeps showing up for them. Basketball, golf, appearances, whatever. Additionally, the WNBA now has two options. Change beside her or lag behind her. Caitlin Clark isn't staying in anyone's lane.